Welcome to the Market Moon Lord, where we merge the matrix with the stars. I'm your host, Jason Alexander, the blue moon of Neptune, here to help you navigate through the illusions of life.
What's going on, everybody? Happy new moon. I'm filming this 2 hours before the new moon. This new moon happens to fall in my 6th house of overall well-being, everyday routines, good habits, bad habits, and let me tell you guys how this new moon is changing my life. I have taken my everyday routines and I have done unbelievable DD. I have taken financial astrology, the way I've done financial astrology, to a whole nother level. And I have to thank the moon gods out there who have been pushing me to look deeper into this stuff and have been supporting me and been helping me with the research. So today we're going to be going over the new moon for AMC and what I think is going to happen this week. And yeah, it's definitely a big week, guys. Stay tuned. Okay, first things first, we're going to go over the moon phases. Okay, by the way, regarding GameStop, AMC and GameStop are pretty much acting the same way with the moon phases. So everything I say about this up and coming week on AMC regarding the moon phases also applies to GameStop. Okay, so I'll be including this intro regarding the moon phases on AMC on GameStop's video as well. As you can see, we're using a different look on the charts. My other chart went Super Saiyan and it's going to be a little hard to keep up with, so to make things a little bit easier to see, I did make a new chart. Also, for the ones that are just cherry picking what I say or not watching all my videos and following the entire situation, I've been saying that I always said I only see, I don't only see, but I see big climaxes during a full moon, during a waxing moon, not a waning moon. The biggest climaxes, to me, the potential of the biggest climax has to be on a waxing when the moon is growing, not when the moon is dying. So I said ever since this full moon, I said there's a really good chance, since it's waning, that we could just consolidate or we could start going down, because waning energy is more of a let go energy. Sure, there's a potential just because of the cycle that would have popped up, and I had to make that prediction, right? But I also said the bigger climax will be during a growing moon, okay? And I wouldn't be surprised if we consolidate, and that's what we've been doing, guys. The last week we've gone down like I don't even think it's been $1, okay? So let's not freak out about the price action here. We've been accumulating, and guess what I think is going to happen? The new moon is today, so Monday's trading day is going to be a brand new energy, and I definitely think there's a really good chance this week we're going to start going up and we're going to see big moves. Now, sure, there's a good chance that we might go down, okay? I'm not going to lie to you. I have to show you guys a few things here. I want to pull up the SPY real fast. Okay, the SPY is also following the moon phases. Okay, I've been covering the moon with all these big indexes. Okay, so it does look like it is going to go down, the SPY, this week. However, guys, it's still going to make a higher low. Okay, look, it's making higher lows. Okay. Yeah, so even if it starts going down, but basically what I'm saying, the whole market might start going down next week, but we're probably not going to go down with it. We might be more of that stable one, a slow incline or just a slow decline. But I do predict that maybe the SPY might start going down a little bit next week. However, I do want to go back to August. Okay, you can see here in August, we had the full moon, and then on the waning it still grew, and then on the new moon it still grew into the full moon. So it grew twice in the phases here, okay? And it did it again from this one to this one, okay? So it's been almost a year since it went up twice in 2 phases, but it is possible, okay? And this was a really strong phase right here. So I do think we could see a double, and it's been about a year. And someone made a really good point about this new moon. He said, interesting, the SPY closed at 4:11 when the new moon is on the date 4:11. That is very interesting. And then he says, earnings season begins next week. And I definitely think that could definitely be a catalyst to make sure that on this cycle that we get a double bull run for the SPY and the rest of the bigger indexes. So that's pretty exciting to see. Next week is looking like a lot of climaxes and the market in general. So I do think the SPY could potentially jump double. Okay. Now, if that happens, then that's going to be really, really good energy to propel AMC here. Okay, so for anyone that may be cherry picking what I'm saying, I'm not saying that the SPY is definitely going to be red throughout this entire moon phase. In fact, no matter what, I think it's going to make a higher low, like pretty much what it's been doing. Okay, so it might start going down, but I do expect it to bounce back up at some point this week or the following week into the full moon. Okay, because it's always making higher lows here. Okay, however, I'm also saying that there is a potential, since we do have catalyst next week, that it just continues this current bull run to the top. Okay, and then if that's the case, we get a double bull run phase for the SPY and the indexes, and then that's going to be even stronger energies to propel AMC and GME. Okay. So yes, I am looking for us to go up on this new moon. Now, I do want to talk about some technical analysis because you guys have been asking me about that. Okay, you can use technical analysis with financial astrology, and let's do a little bit right here. Okay, so we are oversold. Okay, so it looks like we're due to start going up. We'll look at the MACD, same exact thing. Okay, now the thing about the MACD is it's still going down a little bit here, right? So according to this MACD, it would take a day or two before we start seeing that reversal, unless we get a really strong, violent price action. Okay, but according to this, it might be a slow reversal here. So maybe Wednesday, Thursday, that's when we get the bigger days. Okay, according to the technical analysis, but it does look like it's lining up for us to start seeing that reversal coming next week. I pulled up the hourly chart for AMC. And you can see the MACD down here is about to make that crossing, the 30-minute. It started to make the crossing right there. Okay. But when we go to the day chart, right here. So to me, it's going to take a few more days until we see the big move. So Wednesday, Thursday. However, we could definitely see one on Monday. Don't get me wrong. But I have more reason. I have a reason to see a pretty decent move Monday, but I have a really big reason to see a big move for Wednesday. Okay, so before I get into this next part of the video, I hope you guys are getting the sense that I'm putting in more DD. Now, I want to make it clear to every one of you guys, these are predictions, okay? Sometimes they're right, sometimes they're wrong. Anyone that's talking about AMC on the internet is making predictions, whether they're using fundamentals, technical analysis, or astrology. That being said, guys, I'm taking it to the next level, and I'm doing it for you guys, but I'm also doing this for myself. I think it's very important to understand that I myself have money in the game, okay? And I use astrology for everything, okay? So I'm doing this for myself just as much as I'm doing it for you guys. It's not like I'm just here for kicks and giggles. My skin is in the game. I've been doing so much DD. I haven't been hanging out with my friends, my girl. I haven't been working my other businesses that I should be working. I haven't been working out. I'm losing weight. I haven't been eating. I mean, everything has been getting neglected but astrology right now. Okay, guys, I'm obsessed. I'm in this with you guys. This is my main focus, for us to get these plays right, for us to know what's going to happen and to prepare. Okay, and I'm actually excited to put out some more precise information as far as when things are going to happen, how long they'll last for, so we can start setting up some potential swing opportunities to, maybe take some profits and get back in later type opportunities. So yeah, I'm excited for the future. Stay tuned. And guys, don't forget to join our Discord. Shout out to everyone that's been helping and supporting the channel and the research. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe if you're new. And guys, please share the video. All right, so let's check out this brand new DD that I have been cooking for you guys. Okay, so this is my new chart on AMC. Now it's the same exact chart from before, but I just added a whole bunch of stuff, okay? So I'm gonna pull Stock Guru. Everyone take a deep breath, in and out. And after I explain this to you, everything's gonna be okay. It's gonna be easy peasy. Okay, so what I did was I went back into the past for AMC and I tracked certain significant dates, okay? For instance, when we close, right? So, and I looked at major aspects, okay? And then I looked for trends on those aspects, okay? Now, one of the biggest aspects that AMC gets whenever it makes a big move is the moon trine Mercury, okay? So this is what I'm doing, guys. I'm labeling out the aspect, and then I'm putting markers on that day, okay? And it just helps me do my DD and helps me see what I need to see, okay? So if I hit this little Mercury right here, and I look at the lines that are going on it, we can see right there, at the top there, it was associated with a plus 53% day. I go here, and that's a negative, pretty much 9% day. And then I go here, and that's a plus 25% day. And then the next one, plus 21%, okay? And then the next one we have is today on the new moon, which is, to me, going to play out tomorrow, Monday, okay? So that indication right there, and this is what I'm doing. I'm going into the future to see when some of these are happening, right? And I've already did this on my last AMC video, and I actually call it the moon square Mercury could potentially bring it down, but then we get the trine on Monday, on the new moon, actually on Sunday. That's going to play out Monday. So I'm looking for that to play out. That right there is a big indication that it could go pretty ham tomorrow. Okay, now that I've explained that, let's go to the actual new moon, which will be today, Sunday, April 11th. And you can see the new moon is conjunct with the sun in the sky together. That is the indication that it is a new moon. The only aspect this new moon is making to AMC is that aspect I was just talking about, which is a 0-degree trine to Mercury. That's a very, very bullish energy that I pointed out. And there's several other aspects on this new moon that we're going to talk about. To me, is going to give us a good idea of what's going to happen until the full moon. Okay, so further explain what I think this does mean is obviously communication and news. Mercury represents news, communications, agreements, deals, contracts. Okay, we look at Mercury, it's got a trine to the sun on the new moon and a trine to the actual moon with the opposition to Mars, which is an opportunity. And Mars is in Gemini, which is also about communication, also about agreements and bringing people together, networking. So guys, this is all extremely, extremely, extremely bullish energy. Now I have to mention this Mercury square Neptune is finally at 0 degrees, and we've been talking about that's the indication of deception. So it is full blown happening right now, but it could all be getting exposed, okay, in AMC's favor, since the trine in the moon is in nice favorable aspects to the new moon, which, remember, this is going to come into play and come into the climax around the full moon time. Also, I want to mention this Neptune right here making a square to Mercury 0 degrees is something that is never going to happen in our lifetime again. Neptune takes 165 years to orbit the sun, and when you get a big outer planet making an aspect to a inner planet like this is very, very significant energy, okay? So I'm thinking during this cycle, seriously, all this deception and manipulation it's all going to be at a climax, okay? It's going to be exposed, or it's going to be completed, okay? But it's at its peak energy right now. Another thing I want to point out is what's happening to Uranus. It's one of those outer planets. It takes 84 years for it to travel around the sun. So this aspect for AMC will never happen again for most of us in our lifetime. Okay, and it's a very important one because it's making a 0-degree aspect to AMC's moon. We know AMC's moon is very strong because it's at home in Cancer and it's conjunct Jupiter, which is exalted there. Okay, so and Uranus is actually debilitated in Taurus. So AMC is actually looking very strong with these positive aspects with Uranus, okay? And this is definitely about breakthroughs. And the moon represents the public, it represents the masses, and it represents companies that are servicing and nourishing people, okay? And it's also making an aspect to Pluto, and Pluto can represent power. It can represent taking things over. It can also bring transformations and sudden changes. Pluto is a very explosive and especially momentum, motive driven energy. Okay. So this is very, very awesome for this new moon for AMC. I mean, this is like incredible aspects right off the bat. And then we turn around and we look at Venus, okay? And Venus is making a very, very positive aspect to the sun. And it's at 0 degrees on this new moon. This is exact, okay? We know Venus has a lot to do with communication, has a lot to do with aesthetics and the artists. So it has a lot to do with Hollywood. Venus actually represents the celebrity, okay? So it represents theaters and the cinematic events and stuff like that. And the sun represents reputation. So transits like this can definitely bring in mergers and agreements on this new moon. Definitely great energy for new movies and new art getting released. I've been talking a lot about why aren't the movie stars talking about this situation. I'm still looking for that to happen. This is very good energy for that type of energy. And yeah, guys, this looks really significant for some big moves on AMC. On this next moon phase. All right, so let's cover some of these other aspects, and yes, we will get to this Venus square Venus later. Okay, and I want to point out AMC's sun on this new moon is also not only getting the trine from Venus, but it's also getting a sextile from Jupiter. We know Jupiter represents expansion, sun is reputation. Venus also has a lot to do with communication, so definitely looks like a lot of expansion, communication, energy for AMC. Now, for the first time, I'm going to point out an aspect we're not getting, okay, anywhere. Saturn aspects. If we take a look at Saturn on this new moon, AMC Saturn, nothing's touching it. We look at transiting Saturn, nothing is touching it. Okay, so typically Saturn can stabilize things, it can depress things. We've been getting a lot of Saturn aspects the last couple weeks, and now we don't have any. So look for things to be volatile just off of that reason. Wow, I know this video is getting long, but I've been doing so much DD. There's so much to tell you guys, but guys, I think this week is really setting up to be fucking wonderful. At the very least, I think after this week, we're gonna have a really good sense of direction for AMC. So stay tuned. By the way, we did do an astrology chart on AMC CEO Adam Aaron. I think you guys will find that very interesting. And we even talked about Ken Griffin, the CEO, founder of Citadel. Okay, last week I feel like I made a mistake because I gave everyone a day-by-day planetary alignment changes, and I was making a daily prediction, you could say. But, when it comes to the stars, the planets, I mean, it's about the themes and it's about the build-ups and when that's happening, okay? And especially when the outer planets are doing things, okay? So I'm not going to focus on, a day-by-day action anymore. I'm going to focus on significant events only, and then we're going to make our predictions going forward like that. Okay, so we know what's going on the new moon. We're just going to quickly cover that right here. This is the same chart we've been using with the extra DD, but here's the new moon, here's the full moon. We didn't have a reversal. We just kept kind of consolidating slowly down, and now we're on the new moon, and I'm predicting we're gonna go up, honestly. But I have a rocket here, and let me zoom in for you. and I have a rocket here going down. Okay, this is not financial advice. Okay, this is entertainment purposes only. Okay, so if we zoom in on the chart right here, we can see Wednesday, April 14th, and Thursday, April 15th. We have two major events happening, astrologically speaking. Keep in mind, guys, I'm only counting these as major events if it was significant on the stock enough to make a pattern, or if it's just super significant in astrology in the first place. Okay, so the first one we want to go over is the moon opposite the midheaven on Wednesday. And that is essentially this red line going from the moon hitting the MC up there. Now, guys, I explained many times how I got the house system for AMC and how I'm using this birth time to get the MC and the rising sign. We pretty much rectified it, but yeah, I'm not going to explain that again. But yes, the moon is going to be directly opposite of MC. We know the MC represents the public reputation of the chart, and that's very significant. Okay, and so if we look to past events when this happened, because the moon moves pretty quickly and hits the same spot every 30 days, we can see that right here, the last time it happened was the day that we hit $14.50 or so. That's the highest we've been since the squeeze, right, guys? So even though that day was only a plus 3% day, that was still the highest day of AMC for a very long time. And ironically, the MC of a chart is the highest point. Okay. That's why we say it's the reputation, because it's where you're most seen. That's the career house. Now, the other time it happened, and if we follow this little line right here, we can see it happen right there. Okay. Now, let's take a look at this area. Sorry. There we go. Now, we see that it happened right here, right? Now, that was only a 3% plus day, right? But look at where that was. It was, first of all, right by the apogee, and it was marked at the beginning of a 4-day bull run. Okay, and that bull run hit like what, over 50%. Okay, so that's crazy. Okay, and also I want to point out what happened before that. We had a whole bunch of consolidating. Okay, that looks very similar to what's happening right here. Okay, and it looks like we have another day to track, which is this guy right here. And look, that was a few days before the squeeze, and we had a plus 17%. Okay, so this is Wednesday. The other major aspect that we have for Wednesday happening, we go all the way over here. This is Venus square the ascendant. If we go to the chart and we hit this, not only is it squaring the ascendant, but it's also squaring Venus 0 degrees. Okay, so these are huge, harsh aspects to the company, right? 0 degrees. So this is super significant. Another reason this is significant is Venus is at the 29th degree of Aries. That's the most powerful degree because it's the last degree of the sun. And Venus is at a place it doesn't want to be. Okay, and it's squaring AMC's Venus. So I had to check that out. That doesn't look favorable, right? So if I go over to this, right? Venus is only in that spot like once a year. So I had to go really far back to see when it squared this before. Okay, so for this date, it happened on March 20th or March 2020, and we had a negative 15% on this day. And then if we go to the other day, right, that didn't look good, right? If we go to the other day, we had a plus 7%, and look, that was in the middle of a bull run. Okay, that bull run we hit around 15%. Okay, no, even more than that, like 20%. Now, the other time it happened, I go really far. I did skip 1 year because nothing significant happened this year. But this year, look at this candle, okay? I saw this candle, I was like, what? But if I go in on this candle, in 1 hour, it fell over 7%. And then the next hour, it gained back almost 6%, and kept going past that, okay? So that day was clearly super significant, even though it just ended the day negative 0.18%. Okay, so you're probably wondering what was actually happening with AMC around this time to create this price action. This is an aspect that happens once a year. The last 4 times this happened, three of those times there's been significant price action. Obviously, the one that happened last year in March that created the 15% drop was due to the coronavirus. The one that happened in 2018 where we had a nice little 24% bull run, that was due to AMC actually opening theaters in Saudi Arabia. So that's very interesting to note. And then the other time where we had the big 7% drop in 1 hour, but then it shot right back up, is when AMC actually released their earnings, which was a record-breaking first quarter. But you know how people are when news gets released sometimes. So yeah, I'm guessing based on past events, Wednesday will be a pretty significant day for AMC. So to recap, this Venus square the ascendant is associated with doors for AMC being closed and theaters for AMC being opened, and also associated with record-breaking first quarter numbers. That being said, can you guys blame me for making a prediction that something significant is going to be happening this week for AMC? Perhaps more doors being opened, perhaps more doors being closed, perhaps more records of attendance for AMC is going to be happening. I mean, after all, this new moon did look pretty positive. I'm excited. Wednesday's a big day. Let's move over to Thursday because that's also looking pretty big as well. Okay, so am I wrong to say this is DD you can't get anywhere else on the internet? If I'm right, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe if you're new. And guys, share the video. All right, let's get into let's get into Thursday. And right off the bat, we have a sun trine the sun. That happens from the sign of Aries once a year, okay? And that's pretty significant. And the last time this has happened was on April 16th, dead smack in the middle of the pandemic. And we can see on the actual day of the exact transit, it was plus 1%. And the day before the transit, it was plus 10%. And the day after the exact transit, it was plus 31%. I went back to the one we had in 2019, and it happened to fall on the weekend, so those aren't as potent, but I do want to show there was a clear shift. Days before that, it was green. We had the weekend. After the weekend, it went down. Food for thought for what could happen if we do start seeing green, and then a few days after, it could potentially go down based on that data, but I wanted to point that out to you guys. Okay, another significant aspect happening on Thursday, April 15th, is Jupiter will be sextiling the Sun 0 degrees. This is an aspect that's only going to take place every 12 years and has never actually happened to AMC yet because they weren't on the stock market 12 years ago. Okay, so we know the Sun represents the company reputation, leadership. Jupiter represents the legal matters happening with the company, and Jupiter in itself just represents expansion, things growing, honestly, and it creates a lot of more of an uptrend energy in the stock market when it's making positive aspects to a chart like it's doing right here. And it's in powerful late degrees of Aquarius, so I'm very, very, very curious on how this is going to play out. And since Jupiter does have a lot to do with legal matters, if there's anything legally happening with AMC this week, it's probably going to go in AMC's favor. So yes, this week is looking very, very strong with a lot of these power player planets making some strong positive aspects. Okay, so I have Friday pulled up right here, and this day actually looks pretty decent too. A new thing happened from Wednesday to Thursday. Venus went into Taurus, but on Friday, Venus now makes a new aspect, 0 degree to AMC's Neptune, which is pretty interesting because, first of all, AMC's Neptune is in the sign of Hollywood, Pisces, and Venus is at home, the sign of Taurus, the artist. Um, Things looking beautiful, aesthetics. Okay, so I'm looking at this as pretty good energy for AMC and a new shift of energy. And another cool thing that I like about this aspect is on Monday, the following Monday, it's going to pretty much be opposing the north node of AMC, which is like some destiny type energy, and then the sun's going to be around that same area, opposing the north node. But yeah, guys, that's what I have for you for this week. Over this week, we'll go live. We're going to be looking at the CEO, because I know he's about to be doing some interviews, and we're going to try to see what's going on in his chart, if he's telling the truth and how we feel about it. We did kind of talk about that already, if you guys check out that video. I'm also probably going to be going live tomorrow on GME. I want to get deeper on the DD. I didn't get a chance to go that deep on GameStop. And yeah, guys, hopefully you guys like what I'm doing here. Let me know if you guys agree with me or disagree with me. But I'm thinking we're onto something, tracking the historic events. So I appreciate each and every one of you guys. If anyone's new, please subscribe. Don't forget to comment, like, and also please share. I'm the Blue Moon of Neptune, here to help you navigate through the illusions of life. You're watching a Market Moon Lord, where we merge the matrix with the stars. And yes, I'm excited for this week. We have extremely good aspects. I'm thinking it's bullish, but time will tell. Until next time, peace.
Jason Alexander, the Blue Moon